Hi everyone, this is Lori from My File Addiction. Today I'm going to talk about the attach feature in Cricut Design Space, and that can be found in the lower right hand corner with the little paperclip icon over here. So let's go to upload, and I've already uploaded this file into the library, so I'm going to select it, select insert image. Now with Rhinestone Files, the ones that I sell, I have a couple out there that are labeled a little bit differently. And these are the files that have to be used in your particular program. So the ones that include the measurements here will be labeled Cricut Brother. I have some, which was my first version of when I updated these files. I have some that will just have Cricut. So that particular file is formatted for your program, but it does not include the measurements. And then I also have some files that are older versions that I may have not updated yet, and you may not see one that has either Cricut or Cricut Brother at the end of the file name. The regular SVG file will not work in your program, so if you happen to purchase a file of mine that you can't find either the Cricut Brother or the Cricut file, please contact me and I can get you the updated version that you will need to use. So let's go back to our Design Space program. Okay, so the measurement here is basically for Brother Scan and Cut users because their program will resize the file. Design Space was having issues, but as far as I'm aware of, it has been corrected. So these measurements should be good, but let's go ahead and double check that. So let's select the file, then select Ungroup. Now these two pieces will be grouped together also, so we're going to select Ungroup again. So when I say, so look at the wording, how I've included it along with the measurements. If I say each template should measure, I'm considering each black box as a template piece. Okay, so because the actual design piece are two different pieces, both of those pieces would never measure this. But the black boxes that are around each piece, as you can see, do match those measurements. So see, I've selected just the design piece. That's 9.946. So if I select just the black box, that measures and equals the measurement that I wrote down here. So if you end up ever having to resize a design piece, you're going to want to make sure that you hold down your left click and select the entire piece, which is the black box and the one inside, and then you would type in your measurement up at the top here. But since these are already sized correctly, then we don't have to make any adjustments. Sometimes on larger designs, I will give a measurement for all of the pieces in the design because it's easier. Say sometimes my alphabet design, it's easier for me to have you select the entire alphabet and then select and then check the measurements compared to what I have given you to make sure it's correct. So let's go ahead and delete this part. Okay, so the attach feature you can use to attach the black boxes to the design piece, or in this case, it was brought to my attention that okay, I think I have, hold on a minute, I think I have two design pieces up here. Looking like I've got 4 here. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to, okay, it looks like I've got a design hidden somewhere. Yep, there it is. Okay. So I want to make sure I'm only working with one design here. So, okay. So this one's still grouped. So I'm going to ungroup. We can ungroup this way too. Okay, let's just double check. Sizes are correct. Okay, I'm going to delete this. Okay. So what we can do is, if we were to send this over to Make It right now, you're going to see that it's 4 separate pieces. So the black boxes are going to cut separate, and then each design piece is going to cut separate. So for those of you that want to cut the black box around your design, and I'll explain what the black box is for, you would use the attach feature. Another thing that happened, you can notice when if you look at the R here, it's missing some stones. And what happened is those stones are up here. These are individual objects versus being combined with this piece here. So I'm going to cancel here. So I can see that over here too. So what happened when I grouped this design, I inadvertently didn't grab 4 of these stones. So what we can do is you can correct that problem yourself. So you can do this one of 2 ways. You can either correct it when we combine the black boxes to the design piece, or for those of you that don't want to use cut the black boxes, you can select the box and you can delete each one of those. Then you're going to hold down your left click and draw an imaginary box around the design piece to select everything. You would select attach. And now if you hit make it actually, those circles are no longer up here, and it combined it with the other piece. So now you've corrected that problem. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the boxes here. Okay, so the boxes are there for those of you that want to make your design using what they call the Hinge method. And that's assembling your transfer all on one piece of transfer tape. And in a minute, I will show you kind of exactly what that means. But basically, look at these black boxes as your actual template material. So the circles would represent the holes in your template. So most of you look at this as wasted template material, but what would actually happen is when you start building using the Hinge method, you basically have a base template, and then each of the preceding templates that you would place on top of the base template, this blacked out area here would actually cover all the holes for the piece underneath. So it's there for a reason, and it's just not wasted material. So like I said, in a minute I will show you some examples of what I mean, and it'll kind of all come together. But if you want to combine these black boxes to the template piece, what you will need to do is you will need to go into your color sync option here up at the upper right. And we're going to take each black box and we're going to drag it and mix it with each one of the colors. So if you had 3 or 4 colors, you would take all those black boxes and drag one to each one of the colors. So now you can see, now we have basically 2 color options here. So now what we need to do is, now you need to hold down your left click and you need to select the box and the template piece and select attach. And do that for each piece. Select attach. And now when we select make it, now you can see you're down to cutting 2 pieces, where before you had 4 pieces. And also we have corrected the problem with the R. So that takes care of that. So now back to what the hinge method is. So remember all this wasted space here, and I'll show you exactly how that will work here. So here is 2 templates. So basically, this pink area here was the black box. Okay, so this would be our base piece, and then here's the second piece. So see, you have all this extra material here. But what you want to do is your first piece, you would put your base piece down. Now, when you cut your transfer tape, you're going to actually cut it a little bit longer so that it can stick to your work surface. So whether that be a tabletop or a cookie sheet, but what you would do is you would put your base piece down, you put your rhinestones over your template, you brush them in, and then you place your transfer tape over your first piece, but make sure that part of your transfer tape sticks to your work surface. So then after you place the transfer tape over your template, then you roll it back, but leave it stuck to your surface. So then your next piece would go directly on top of your base piece. So see, now you can see that it has actually covered all of the holes from the template piece that's on the bottom. So this one stayed on the bottom, and then your next piece, which was this bottom piece here, that one is covering the first one. So having these boxes be exactly the same allows you to line those template pieces up perfectly. So then what you would do is you would go ahead and fill those holes with your second color, and then you would take that transfer tape and you would roll it back over the design, and now you can see it's lining up your stones perfectly with the first piece that you did. And then after you lift off your transfer tape completely off your template, now you can see that you have your design assembled all on one piece of transfer tape. Now, if you happen to have more than 2 templates, and say you're working with a 3 or 4 color design, so you've got 3 and 4 color, 3 and 4 separate templates, only stack one template on your base template at a time. So you wouldn't want to keep stacking them all. So basically what you would do is you would remove this piece, the second piece, and then replace it with your third template. And then you would, after you did this one, you would roll back your transfer tape again, stack your third color, which would only be, there would only be your base template underneath plus your third template, and then roll that back, lift that template off, lift the top template off, and replace it with the fourth template if you had that many templates. So you never want to have more than one template stacked on top of your base template. If you do, it gets to be too thick, and then it will actually, after you start lining these up, unrolling this off, it will make everything shift. So then you will have alignment issues. But if you only stack one template onto your base, everything should line up perfectly. So I hope this information was helpful, and thanks, and have a great day.